Folks, welcome to the Kids in Comedy graduation show. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up in your homes. You made it. My name is Nick Maritato. I'm going to be the host of this show right now. It's wonderful for me to be able to perform for you guys and to be able to talk to these kids every Saturday. For the past 8 weeks, all of these kids have put together a stand-up comedy set. Around 4 or 5 minutes of hilarious comedy. And we built it right here over the internet, over Zoom. And you guys are watching it over YouTube. Quite a world we're living in. And I'd like you guys to just, in your homes, send good vibes and thanks for these kids preparing so much material, all from the top of their heads. We just help them sort of formulate their ideas and organize them. And so this is all their original material. So I'm going to give them a round of applause right now. And I know you guys are doing that as well. We have a really great show for you. We have a bunch of comedians. It is a little tough sort of, to be in quarantine. Quarantine is like so rough, it's like you're like, excuse me, cold brew. Thank you. Quarantine has been very, very tough on me. And it's you lose a lot of what you love, going outside and whatnot. At least you have somebody feeding you cold brew. Everybody has their own cold brew maker at their apartments or homes, right? Am I the only one that got sent that by the government? Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't miss out. But yes, it's quite an adjustment. I realize that the pandemic makes you like appreciate the little things. You know what I mean? Like such as the number of showers I took this month. Hey-o, come on now. We got to do jokes here. I got a brick wall behind me. I'm forced to do comedy. It's tough being a comedian right now, especially if you were a comedian like pre all of this madness, right? Pre-quarantine. Because like when we come out of quarantine, all of our material like won't make any sense. You're like, hey, I was at the movies the other day. It's like, no, you weren't. You were at home like the rest of us. So what I've been doing is sort of anticipating what a post-quarantine world looks like, and then writing some premises sort of based on what I think the world might be like. I'll run a little something by you right now. Y'all know what chaps my buns when the dang robot mailman gets oil all over my Land's End PPE catalog. Am I right, folks? I mean, the new fall face masks are out. I gotta get one. Listen, if you can hear me out there, President Bezos, no more mail bots. No more mail bots. You think that's going to crush? I think it will. I think it'll kill. Right now, I'm sure it didn't do very well. I'm hearing crickets here, but I live with a lot of crickets. So, I mean, that's mostly what's going on. One of the most vicious pandemic symptoms here is the uncontrollable urge to eat all of the cookies. I mean, they didn't warn us about that. Okay. For some reason, I have to eat all the cookies, and I know it's not my fault. But I say eat them if you got them, folks. That's what they say at this point. Eat them if you got them. Now that time is meaningless, though, something that I've been working on, like a little project, is to see how close I can get breakfast to lunch and then lunch to dinner. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to smash those. Time doesn't mean anything. So I'm trying to get them as close as close as possible. Because here's what I've cracked, folks, and this is going to blow your minds. Did you know that once you get through breakfast, lunch, and then dinner, you can just eat breakfast again? You don't have to wait for the morning. There is no morning. Just eat pancakes at night. Keep it rolling, folks. Another thing I've been binging, other than pancakes, I've also been binging a lot of TV, right? And me and my fiance, we've been watching a lot of Survivor, the reality show. Just had its 40th season, crazy stuff. I've realized, though, a lot of similarities between sort of quarantine life and Survivor life. We're like, everybody's like stinky. We're all wearing bandanas for some reason. I'm eating more rice than I've ever eaten in my entire life. But, Survivor actually gave me some ideas, some thoughts. And what I'm going to do here is last night, I created an alliance with my cat and my toaster oven. And at the next tribal council, I'm going to blindside my girlfriend and kick her out of the apartment. So, no, listen, I know. I should be happy. I should be happy that I'm quarantined with a loved one. Some people out there aren't. and I feel really bad for you guys out there having nobody to nag you at all moments of the day because you can't leave your house. I feel for you. Are you trying to tell me you can eat chips on your couch all day and no one cares? I feel bad. But I get it. I'm stressing out over the quarantine, over the pandemic, and it is nice that at home in my bed I can just decompress and have somebody hog all the sheets. I do feel. Says those are my quarantine jokes. Thank you so much. I wrote all those jokes for this quarantine. Okay. Let's start the show, folks. You don't want to hear me. You want to hear these kids. And these kids are very, very funny. And our first comedian, you're going to love her. Everybody, give it up for Saskia Penning. Saskia, coming to the stage.
Woo! Yes, Saskia.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, so I feel like with like all the crazy stuff going on and so far in 2020, the pandemic, the quarantine, everything, it's kind of reminding me of like those last few seasons of a show, like before it's ended, when everybody knows that it like already should have ended, like it's really on its last legs here. And I'm starting to see the similarities between these things. Like usually with the show, they'll have like a few of the best characters or like leave already, and they'll bring in like a replacement, but everybody knows they're not the same, or they're not even half as good. And we have Obama, like he left, he got a replacement. Everybody knows he's not as good. He's not even like trying. Like it's definitely not the same. They'll like usually in shows they'll have a few characters that'll like get pregnant, and then they'll have to like hide it with like big purses or like big dresses or whatever. For us this would be like if they try to like hide the mask shortage in like a big frilly dress, something like that. Sometimes you'll see in these shows, you'll see like characters that are like written to like fall in love, even though it makes like absolutely no sense. Like it doesn't make sense at all. And we have this with Elon Musk and Grimes because, making the like mad scientist who wanted to buy moon property and the crazy musician fall in love was definitely a great idea. Ideal couple. Love to see it. I'm just hoping that they're going to write fan fiction about our show, like once it's over, because, I already have a few ideas going of some fan fiction I would love to see. I would love to see some Putin-Trump fanfic. Of course, Putin will be the knight, the galleon knight in shining armor because, we already know he likes to ride around shirtless on his horse. And Trump will be the maiden he has to save in his tower. But the whole thing will also have a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills theme because, it just makes sense. Think about it. Like Trump, he already has the bad spray tan. He has the history in reality TV. And I'm pretty sure if you combed his comb over in a different direction, if you just brushed it downwards, he'd have some pretty nice locks, some pretty nice hair. I'm just, I'm wondering if they'll do a spin-off, of our show because, usually those suck, but we have just so much room for improvement. And, I was thinking if they're going to do a spin-off, if they really want to do something crazy, something totally original, never been done before, completely unlike the first one, they could, make a spin-off and give everyone equal rights. But that's really, if they're really feeling outside the box, feeling crazy, they really want to mix it up. But, in quarantine, I've been really bored. I've been looking for some new stuff to do. And I've been reading a lot of books, and I was looking on Goodreads at books and ratings and stuff, and I saw that the Quran was on there, which really surprised me because not only was it on there, but it had reviews and it was rated. And I just don't understand how you would rate the Quran. You can't fact check it. Would it be maybe it'd be 7 out of 10? I really like the creativity, but I thought the character Muhammad was underdeveloped, pretty one-dimensional. And I was looking at the reviews of the Quran though, and they were pretty positive. Somebody said that they really liked it because, it was shorter than the Bible. So that's definitely something good. I was looking at the author of the Quran and it said Allah, but then I was looking at the author of the Bible and it said anonymous. So, now I don't really know who to trust anymore. Really mixed up. But, the Bible did get a better rating than the Quran, which might be a hate crime. I'm not really sure yet. So trying to figure that one out. But the reviews actually were pretty harsh. Too harsh, I thought. Somebody said that they thought that, the book took itself too seriously. You thought God would have written it or something like that. Somebody said that they didn't like it because, they started with the characters Adam and Eve and they got totally invested in it. And then they were just gone and they got rid of them out of nowhere. Like, they didn't bring him up ever again. Somebody was too harsh, I think. There was one review I thought was too harsh where they said that they recommended it to fix a crooked table, which seemed like a bit much to me. But that's just me. And my favorite one, personally, overall, my favorite review definitely was somebody who said that it was a spoiler alert before they wrote that the main character died in the end, which I really liked. While I was looking through all these religious texts that people were rating, perusing the religious aisles of Goodreads, I found a Torah for Dummies, which, definitely didn't make me feel good. I'm not sure if it's offensive though, but definitely didn't make me feel good. But also that's just like not how religion works. Like nobody understands the Torah. Nobody like reads the Torah from like front to back and like is sad when it's over. Like nobody really understands. The one review I did see rating that made sense was not a religious book, was the Communist Manifesto, because it only got 3.5 stars out of 5. But I think that makes sense because, as instruction manuals go, that one didn't really work out that well. It did not really do so well in the end. It is better than the IKEA instruction manuals, of course, but anything is better than that, really. While we're at it, I do have a few books that I would like to rate myself, if, you can. I would like to start with standard pre-calculus textbook, grade 11, because that one is definitely a tragedy, definitely a tearjerker. You will shed a few tears. If I was going to rate it, I would probably rate it negative 1,654 out of 5, one down for every page of pain. And I would also like to rate the nutrition facts on the back of snack boxes, because those are always good for a laugh. Those recommended serving sizes are hilarious. And, I would probably rate it 4 out of 5 because, you'll go into it crying and you'll leave just feeling guilty. So definite bonus on that. Okay, thank you. That was it.
Give it up for Saskia, everybody. Saskia Penning. Wow, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. I'm trying. Anyway, folks, we're going to keep the show rolling. Your next comedian, he is hilarious. Give it up for James Wong, everybody. James, coming to the stage.
Let's go.
James.
Hello.
Keep it going.
Hello, I'm James. My video's in HD so you can see how good my Master Shifu from Kung Fu Panda mustache is coming along. Thomas is really enjoying it. As you can see, his look, he's like, dang, that's a really good mustache. Anyway, I love sports, right? So I love it in hockey when players engage in fisticuffs. But I personally am a big fan of fun and heartwarming violence, but I don't think hockey needs it. I mean, they already have war armor, they have like less sharpened battle staffs, and they are already allowed to touch and grapple each other with malicious intent. Like, I want all sports to have fighting allowed, even the most timid ones. Like, imagine in golf, one golfer kicks the ball of another golfer, the tension rises, and it gets physical. Putters are shoved down mouths, polos are ripped off with anger, and the caddies drop the bags, drop the gloves, and raise their hands. And I want to be a commentator for sports if they allowed violence in each sport. Like, imagine me being like a chess commentator. I would be like, Carl moves bishop to g6. Ooh, Sean didn't like that move. And Sean has stuck the rook up Carl's nose and his retainer has fallen out. And then Carl did not like that. He flips the chessboard and the wooden pieces fly everywhere, hitting the one spectator in the crowd because it still is chess and nobody watches it. And Sean wields the bishop like a sword and stabs it in Carl's belly button, and they're both disqualified. A pretty fun Saturday night, if you ask me. I would love to spend my weekends doing that. Now, guys, it's been quarantine, so I haven't had a lot to do, but I've been trying to make a few bucks. So here, what I'm about to do right now is I'm about to show you guys a business plan I've been working on. I made a little presentation about it. So guys, we all know Tinder. What a great quality app we have here. But what if we had an app that connected kids in a very platonic way? Say no more. Introducing Toddler, Tinder for kids. And look at this guy sitting on a box. He's just the same person because he's like, wow, I love Toddler. I can just tell he's a straight stand-up dude, and I already love his attitude. Now, again, this is a very platonic matching app for kids, and I did a few research things. So this is a very real, legitimate survey that I did with very real, legitimate kids. And the question is, will having more friends make children happier or sadder? And this very real survey yields the answer that 100% of kids say that they are happier with more friends. And this picture right here is all the kids, the real legitimate kids that I asked. And they're all just so happy because look at all the friends that they have. Now, Toddler has a few goals, 4 to be exact. Now, number 1, it is to match children under the age of 10 to each other. Number 2, more playdates equals more friends equals more happiness, like the survey that I just had in the last slide. Number 3, keep children hooked off TikTok, which is the devil's app. And number 4, get your kids hooked on Toddler, which is the Lord Jesus Christ's app. Now, I have some examples of profiles because this is how I envision seeing the app function. So we have Jason. He's 56 weeks old. By the looks of his profile picture, he's very dapper, very dressed up. Look at that plaid shirt. Look at the way he's playing with those blocks. His bio, a tall 32 inches. All right, that's like 6 feet for toddlers, okay? He has a 64 Crayola crayon set, which is a very big commodity these days for toddlers. And the best quality, he knows his way around an easy bake oven and microwave. That's a double whammy right there. Nothing better than that. Now we have Georgia, 156 weeks old. Her bio, don't talk to me before my chocolate milk, as usual. Guys with cooties should swipe left. She has no interest in guys with cooties. And she wants to be treated like a Barbie and not a Build-A-Bear, which is obvious. I mean, who wants to be treated like a Build-A-Bear, okay? And the last one, Troy, 40 weeks old, and by the looks of his bio, he's just so smooth with the words. He just knows how to speak the language. And if I were a toddler, I would want to be friends with Troy. I would swipe right. Now, we have some satisfied customers, okay? This first customer says, James Wong is smarter than Jeff Bezos and me combined, said by Elon Musk. Congrats on the child, by the way, Elon. Wouldn't have named it a better name myself. And another customer, this is the most innovative social media app since MySpace, said by Steve Jobs. Looking a little old in that picture, but it's okay. And the last member of our satisfied customers group, I wish there were more babies that were good Christians and anti-vax. And that is said by Karen. And now what I'm looking for is 100K for 1% of this company. So if you are interested, hit me up on WhatsApp and Zoom. I'm free on each platform, free 24 hours. Thank you so much. My name is James. Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for James, everybody. Fantastic job. I'm going to invest as soon as I get my government check. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Okay, folks, let's keep this fun show rolling. Your next comedian is fantastic. So funny. Give it up for Sally Ray Emke, everybody. Sally Ray.
Let's go.
Keep it going for her.
Howdy. It's me. Let's talk. Now, I'm not gay or anything, but I like girls, you know, like romantically and stuff. But I also like guys so long as they know their way around the housework. That's neither here nor there. I found something interesting about talking to straight people. Everything is normal, you're having a conversation, and oops, I slip out the old my girlfriend, and boom, the temperature in the room drops. This is when you can observe the phenomenon of the straight person shuffle. Now, this is not to be confused with a homophobe hell yell. These people aren't homophobes. They're just not very good at not being homophobic. So I can only imagine what's going through their head. Oh God, it's a homosexual. Oh no, I have to be supportive. What did I ever do to deserve this? I have to be the good person that I am. They just can't figure out how to talk to a non-straight person, despite the fact that they've been doing it the whole time. And I love that people are trying to be supportive, even if they haven't figured out the whole normal person thing yet. I can see that you're doing your best to not look like a bigot. You do not look like a bigot. All you have to do is not tell me I'm going to hell and we are good. The bar is incredibly low. Even if you do tell me I'm going to hell, I'll probably assume it's for some other reason and shrug it off. But yes, I want your support. You just don't need to support us any more than you'd support anyone else. In a group of girls, I hear one say something like, "Ugh, my boyfriend always shows up late to every date, and she's out with girl, dump his ass, and you deserve so much better." And men. But as soon as I say, yeah, I get that, my girlfriend must think we're in a whole nother time zone. They all say, I'm glad you two are happy together. And don't worry, I don't judge your relationship, and I support you. Love is love. Like, no, I'm trying to complain. I have never deserved anyone's support, and my sexuality does not change that whatsoever. Lately, my school's been on a student enrichment kick. I found that pretty weird. Like, come on, you never cared about our mental health when you were watching us, like, most of the day. Now that we're not your responsibility, just gotta check in on us, make sure we're doing okay. I mean, do they really think we can't enrich ourselves? But I look around and realize, oh, I guess we can't. My most recent attempt at enrichment was a virtual field trip. The school took us to see a concert on YouTube. I must say, it wasn't really like going to a field trip. It was more like watching a video on YouTube. And I would note, that's all I've been doing. But there were a few similarities. Comments were filled with kids whispering to each other about how stupid this is, just like on real field trips. And just like on real field trips, there were the people in comments being wondering, what are all these kids doing here? And I just wanted to enjoy the show. But most of the concerts I've been to haven't been interrupted by ad breaks, where the entire orchestra gets up mid-note and acts out a full shampoo commercial, then sits back down and continues playing right where they left off. There was also a virtual museum tour, which was cool, I guess, but a huge part of the map was blocked off saying staff only. Do they let the staff go to that part of the tour in their homes? I think that they should let us in there. It's not like we'd be bothering anyone. And you just know they're having something great in there. Let us see the forbidden exhibits. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sally Ray, everybody. Fantastic set. Loving it. Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian. So funny, so great. You're going to love him. Give it up for Sam Littman. Give it up for Sam.
Woo. Hello. Yeah. So like everyone else, I've been quarantining at home, and also like everyone else, I break a lot of iPhone chargers. And we can't just pop on over to Staples anymore because it's kind of illegal. So instead, I've been having to go look for a new charger on Amazon, which I never really used until quarantine. I'm just more of a brick and mortar guy myself, you know. I like to go to the store and handpick a free range charging cable personally. It's much more artisanal that way. But I've discovered that Amazon is a very, very strange website. Like, they really make you work for something when you want to try and find it. Here, just give me one hot sec and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Just give me another hot sec. One more. And yeah, here we go. So this is what I was confronted with when I tried to find an iPhone charger. The ultimate 10-foot lightning cable, Apple MFI certified iPhone charger cable, 10-foot USB cord compatible with iPhone 11 Pro Max, XS, XR, X876S Plus, SE. Just a lot. And okay, let's just try and deconstruct this entire mess for one quick sec. I keep saying sec, sorry. Why ultimate? It makes it sound much more like a Power Ranger than an iPhone charger. And Apple MFI certified, what does that mean? What's an MFI? What kind of certification is this? And what's an Apple? Like a Granny Smith? And it really feels the need to brag about all the things it's compatible with in this nightmarish list with no commas. My English teacher is rolling in her grave and she isn't even dead yet. Okay, last thing. It says the cable is 10 foot, but it says it a lot, like 3 or 4 times. That makes me think it's compensating for something. I don't think it's actually 10 feet. I think it's more like 3 feet, but they just really don't want you to measure it. But this kind of also got me thinking, because it's clearly selling like hotcakes. I mean, 3,000 ratings, 4 stars. So these kind of tactics must work. And, I'm 17. I'm going to be going out into the job market soon. So I decided to come up with a resume for myself that uses these successful tactics. So yeah. So the mega Sammy Boy Littman is my name. And also this resume builder really wanted to know like a lot of personal details about me. So I just had to tell them to like back away. So my summary is that Sammy Boy Littman is an 8-foot tall god amongst men. All who dare face me tremble. And I am mommy's choice for 10-foot tall, mommy certified god amongst men. Yes, I am. So also for a resume, work experience is pretty important. And so my entire life, I've been working on breathing and being 12 feet tall. And my other job is that I've been taller than Shaquille O'Neal since the day I was born. Like I could eat Shaq for breakfast. He's just a pathetic little baby man compared to me. And yeah, so aside from work experience, I do have some other skills. I've been cute for more than 10 years. Just a couple years ago, I started learning how to stand up and sit back down. It's kind of a struggle because there's a lot of steps there. So I haven't totally gotten the hang of it, but it's like a resume. You can just fluff yourself up. And I'm also compatible with Derek, Walter, Derek. Oh God. Derek. Why did you leave me? We were perfect for each other. And Robert and Tristan. Also, I added a USB-C port. And my education is the School of Hard Knocks. And I'm currently getting my master's in being 17 feet tall at Derek's house. So I hope you will hire me for this wonderful position. Thanks.
Give it up for Sam, everybody. Sam Littman, hire him. Okay, times are tough.
Nope.
He needs your work. Thank you so much, Sam. That was wonderful. Really great job. Next up, you're gonna love our next comedian, folks. He's hilarious. Give it up, Lev Janicki, everybody. Lev, it's Lev, everybody.
Yes, Lev.
Janicki, and it has been for like 14 years. I've done this so many times. Thank you for joining me
Lev
here.
Janicki, everybody. It's Lev Janicki.
So many times. Thank you for joining me and my fabulous chops here today. Thank you. Yes. We've all been in quarantine, and to me, my house in quarantine has become my home office. And as a child, having a home office is really just the evolution of get out of my room, mom. Because now it's schedule an appointment, mom. I will send you to HR. I already sent the dogs there for inappropriate licking. In this scenario, HR is my 18-year-old cat. I don't think that she would make a very good HR. I just think no one would like being sent to hang out with her. But that's what the house has become for me in quarantine. For the rest of my family, it's become completely different things. For my dad, it's a home gym, which for him means grunting every time I'm in class. And like only when I'm in class, it's very invasive. For my sister, it's become a home TikTok film studio, which is not something I knew existed and not something I want to exist. For my brother, it's become an esports arena, which is less invasive than I thought, but his laugh sounds like Yoda. And for my mom, nothing's changed. She sits, she knits, plays online Scrabble. None of us have ever wanted to play Scrabble with her, so everything's the same for her. Great job, Mom. So anyway, speaking of quarantine, I've recently had the time to read around like some of my old comedy notebooks, and I realized I take garbage notes. So I wanted to read some of these notes for you and see if they made any sense. Starting out here, we have mugged, comma, 20% off, question mark. Now, this could be one of two things, because on the one hand, you could get 20% off your mugging. On the other, you could get 20% more mug. Could you imagine that guy comes up to you with a coupon, like, oh, I've got a coupon for 20% more mugging. Oh, great, take my wallet and keys today. Have a nice day. I've got another bullet point that comes up here multiple times, just says meningitis. I don't ever remember having meningitis, so I don't really know what that one's about. Oh, here's a classic. I hate buses. I do hate buses. They're just long cars with no seatbelts. Why do they exist? I don't like them. 7 years of arguing rabbis leaves you wanting more. Fun fact, arguing is actually a core principle of Judaism. Oh, and I can tell that we're getting to the end here because my mom has written egg plus cheese sandwich, question mark. I feel a little notebook violated, and I don't really understand what she was trying to do with this. So back when we were, not doing school from home and work from home or whatever, I used to sit with a bunch of girls at lunch. And I did this because guys make terrible lunch conversation. It's the weirdest thing. Girls enjoy talking to each other. I don't fully understand it yet. My research has been kind of cut off by quarantine. But anyway, one day when I was sitting with the gal pals, they love being called that. This guy comes up, his name's MD, he goes, why didn't you just get married already? And I've already got the perfect response locked and loaded in my brain. I'm going to go, MD, it's called get a room, you two, not why don't you just get married already and enjoy your life together and have fun? Ugh. And I'm going to say this and he's going to feel so owned. But instead, she says, ew, no. And this is not what I was expecting to come out of her mouth. So I get cut off. I go, it's MD, it's called. And I go, wait, what? Why won't you marry me right now? Is it about something about how I smell? And she goes, ew, no, again. I'm like, okay, I need some constructive feedback here. This isn't really, why won't you marry me? Please marry me. Hey, marry me? And MD goes, looks like trouble in marriage land. And I'm like, MD, it's trouble in paradise. Get better at insults before you try them. That's just like a general rule. And she goes like, ew, again. And really the moral of this story, or what I learned from this story, is now everywhere I go, I carry an engagement ring on me. And I do this because if MD ever comes over again, he's like, why don't you just get married already? I go, MD, she's not the one for me. Thank you for being here. You're all invited to me and MD's wedding. Back to you, Chuck. And by Chuck, I mean Nick.
All right. See, I'm Chuck and you're Janicki.
Thank you for that.
You know what, Lev, when you turn 18, you can tell people how you want them to pronounce your name. It's one of those things. But for now, since I'm an adult, I get to say whatever I want. It is the rules. It is the rules. It's a law. That was hilarious, Lev. Thank you so much. We have a couple more comedians coming to the stage. And boy, oh boy, the next one is fantastic. You're going to love her. Give it up for Leah Breakstone, everybody. It's Leah. Keep it going for Leah. Leah.
Thank you. Hey, guys. I'm Leah. I'm an overthinker. What can I say? I mean, I come from a long line of overthinkers. So this whole quarantine idea, it's just not great for us. I mean, we're just sitting at home with all of our thoughts alone all day. I think it's really, hit my mom the hardest. The other day, she sat me and my siblings down and I was like, oh God, what's happening? And then I realized, I think she's just giving us the talk. The talk that you get when you're a teenager, your parents trying to prepare you and protect you for your future life. So I think she was just sitting my siblings and myself down to give us the talk, the talk about tax fraud, right? Of course, everyone gets the talk about tax fraud. This whole quarantine thing, it's really gotten to my mom because she's really convinced and concerned that my siblings and I are all going to commit tax fraud in the near future. Now, tax fraud isn't code word for anything. She's just really scared of tax fraud. So anyway, she's sitting us down and she's talking to us. And she says, all it takes is one little lie about taking the trash out. The next thing you know, you're forging some numbers on your W-2 form, and all of a sudden, you're behind bars wearing a heinous jumpsuit, sharing the communal showers, all because you wanted your daughter to get into the University of Southern California. Mom, did you commit tax fraud? I don't know. This is kind of all too like specific for me. I think she committed tax fraud. Anyway, I don't really plan to, commit tax fraud in my future. And none of my like job ideas have really revolved around tax fraud. Although you would be surprised. I have had my fair share of career interests and career phases. The earliest one that I can remember was I wanted to be a rabbi. I really thought that I just had a great rabbi voice and that I would do great as an Orthodox man. It's safe to say that was probably the peak of my parents' pride for me. I don't think it's ever surpassed that. And then I was a little bit rebellious, changed a few letters around and decided I'm going to be a rapper. I was kind of famous. You probably recognize me, and it's from my rapping career. I'm sure you've heard some of my raps from, the peak of my career. I guess if not, I might be able to give you a few bars, but I'm sure you don't really need it because you probably heard it anyway. Well, anyway, so, all right, I'm going to drop a beat. Why are there so many songs about tofu? Sometimes I just have to wonder. Tofu is kosher for all the Jews. La, 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 word. So anyway, it's safe to say that's probably when my parents were the least proud of me and, in my whole life. I had another shift around that time. I decided I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I'm sure everyone has gone through this phase. So I did some research on the dark web, as a third grader does, and I figured out how to diagnose a peripheral brain tumor. So I would go on my Jewish day school's playground, and you could kind of imagine the scene of Charlie Brown when the doctor is in. They would line up to see me, the best on the swing set. And I would just, pretend that I knew what I was doing, and I figured out that a bunch of kids had peripheral brain tumors, and it was great for me to diagnose them because they already had anxiety disorders. So it really mixed in well. Anyway, it was a hard job though, because sometimes you had to break the news. Man, I don't think you're gonna make it past 5th grade. Next, I was popular. What can I say? Anyway. So obviously I wanted to make a difference in the community. This is where a lot of my jobs stem from. So more recently, I was like, maybe I should be an environmental activist, but not before I hit LL Bean. I like the environment, but I don't like the environment, like I'm more in it for the fits. I mean, how could I possibly save the environment without brand new Tevas and a Patagonia fleece? And you cannot forget the Indiana Jones hat. And also my favorite, the pants that like you can unzip and then they become shorts. I mean, that's genius. Because if I'm going to save the environment, I need to be able to control the temperature in that climate. I guess the more that I think about it, the more I realize it might be more successful if I try and save the environment from the comfort of my own home. I don't want to risk, getting any dirt on my hiking boots. God forbid. I mean, that would be crazy. Well, I hope that you all are, saving the environment or something from the comfort of your homes during this quarantine. Thank you. That's it.
Give it up for Leah, everybody. Fantastic, hilarious job. In it for the fits. Who's not? This has been a fantastic show so far, if I do say so myself. I know everybody at home is very much enjoying themselves, and I'd like you to very much continue to enjoy yourself because your next comedian is also really funny. I'd like you to put your hands together for Roman Zellman, everybody. It's Roman. Clap it up for Roman.
Woo.
Hold on, I'm unmuting myself. All right, we're good. All right. So in the midst of this quarantine, I've been doing what everyone else has to stay sane, just eating everything in the house, binging everything on television, licking subway poles, really just anything to get my mind off of the situation. And yesterday, while I was in the midst of my exodus between my bed and my couch, I came across 2 movies on my phone that, caught my eye. And they were The Bride of Chucky and The Bride of Frankenstein. And to me, a glaring question, just right off the bat, how did 2 of the most dangerous creatures ever created, how did they have spouses, I mean, I'm just confused about how they're happily wed, and I'm single and depressingly watching YouTube for 8 hours straight. I mean, just like, what do they have that I don't, Artificial body parts, maybe? maybe confidence about their heights, maybe a desire to kill. I mean, like, think about it. How can a doll and a monster made out of dead people pass as good mates? I mean, they must be really good listeners or great cooks, or they must have really big hearts or something, you know? Like, I listen, I just don't have a really good memory. And I can cook everything as long as it comes in a box or a can. And I got a huge heart. Well, I guess that's more of a medical condition, but still. I mean, I guess I just can't wrap my mind around the fact that they're living their normal lives, you know? Like, what would dinner with the Frankensteins be like? It's just like, by the way, they're rich. They have like a bar. How was your day? Good. You know, I stalked that family again. How was yours? Terrible. Stacy would not shut up about her cats. I just wanted to strangle her. So I did. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dear. Do you want me to ask the doctor to make you another friend? Oh, would you? That's so sweet. Sure, honey. By the way, this steak is delicious. Like, no. Would never happen in a million years. But they do seem pretty happy. I mean, I guess my only shot at eternal bliss is to hopefully have my leg used to make Mrs. Frankenstein's next friend. Anyway, speaking of other successful relationships, my dad has had a girlfriend for the past 6 years, and don't worry, like, my mom knows. Like, their divorce papers signed, like, they're friends, whatever. Either way, right? Since they've been together for such a long time, I asked my dad if he and Christina were going to get married in the near future. And if they were, would I be his best man? And he said that no, they were not going to get married in the near future. But if they were to get married, I would be his best man. So the dream is still alive. And as soon as I heard this news, I immediately started planning my dad's bachelor party, you know? And that's a lot of pressure to put on someone who, 1, cannot legally drink, 2, does not have a credit card, and 3, has to cater to a 52-year-old man's needs. I mean, look, I know that bachelor parties are supposed to be wild and contain some behavior that's not necessarily safe for work, but I don't need his respect. I already have that. I'm more concerned about his expectations of me as a best man, okay? So here's my itinerary for him, okay? First stop, party bus to Atlantic City with all 2 of his friends from college, paid for by him. Second stop, the casino, but only for a few minutes before realizing that 1, I cannot legally gamble, and 2, my dad has had a gambling problem for over 20 years, but he does get mad whenever you bring it up. Third stop is a hotel for, you know, entertainment purposes. And there's a knock at the door, and there she is. And I thought she was going to try to hide her outfit under a coat or something, but no coat. And she's beautiful and she's perfect. I mean, my dad's money well spent. And she got her equipment, you know, the normal stuff, fog machine, boombox, and the music starts playing, and you can just tell that something magical is about to happen. Mainly because she's a magician. Yeah. Dad just loves magic. And because he loves magic so much, she tags along to our 4th stop, dinner at Peter Luger's Steakhouse, full 3-course meal and giant tomahawk steaks, which I can only hope will not give him a heart attack. 5th stop, the hospital because he has a heart attack. 6th stop is me crying in the waiting room, being consoled by Abby Cadabra. It has never felt more comforting to cry into an infinite amount of colorful scarves. But as a whole, I think my dad will be pretty proud of me. You know, thanks for listening. And before I go, I just want to end my set off with a bang.
Oh, wowzers. Give it up for Roman, everybody. There's no better way to end a stand-up show that happens over the internet than with a missed dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of The Last Dance, so I tried to like incorporate a lot of that.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody miss the dunk in The Last Dance, but you know what? You're not Jordan. You're not Jordan. Not yet. Keep working at it. Keep working at it.
I will.
I love it. I love it so much. We're having a good time. I do. What are magicians doing, by the way, in this time? Like, well, at least we can tell jokes. Like magicians, are they like, look at this pen and it's doves? Just rest assured there's a dove floating above my head right now. I'm telling you, there's so many doves in this room. It's just all happening behind my computer. Anyway, that'll be $55,000. Okay, folks, we have another comedian. She's so funny. You're going to love her. Give it up for Lauren White. It's Lauren. Give it up for Lauren, everybody. Keep it going for Lauren. Lauren.
Thank you for the introduction, Nick. That was awesome. So hi everyone. During quarantine, I've been doing something really crazy. It's called cleaning. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And I actually found when I was cleaning an autobiography that I wrote of myself when I was in first grade. So I thought I would do you the honor of giving you a dramatic reading. So here we go. Okay. So I started off my autobiography with a title, as one does, very creative, title. And I really tried to do a deep dive depiction of my family and friends. You see right here, I describe my dad. My dad loves ice cream and my mom loves ice cream too. Those were their defining features in my eyes. And I also went on to talk about who my friends were. My best friends are Sadie, Simone, Emma, Lydia, Bales, and Mia. And you're probably wondering, Lauren, Emma, do you mean Emma Mnuchin? Do you mean Emma Mnuchin, daughter of Stephen Mnuchin, Stephen Mnuchin's Secretary of Treasury? Yeah, that's right. This whole Trump thing, that's on me, and here's the proof. And then I talked about my hopes and dreams for the future in my autobiography. I talked about I wanted to have 3 children, and I wanted to name them Amy, Clodagh, and Chloe, which when you consider what Elon Musk named his kids, those seem pretty sensible to me. And I knew what adulthood meant, even at age 6. I will drink soda and Coke and also drink wine. If that does not define being a grown-up, I don't know what does. And then I took a brief hiatus from my writing. I think the pressure of fame kind of got to my head a little bit. But then I reassumed in 2009. You see my title did change a little bit from Title to Tidal, which is not a lesser known character in Fiddler on the Roof. And if you notice at the end of my autobiography, it just ends in the middle of a sentence. And best of all, we get to walk over and I left you hanging. And you might be thinking, Lauren, you're probably, distracted by your Zuzu pets and silly bands and whatnot. But no, I like to think that this was an artistic statement, and you guys you wouldn't understand. It would go right over your heads. But also in quarantine, I've been pretty bored lately. Can't really go anywhere. So I've decided to take you all on a virtual European vacation, courtesy of the pictures that I took of myself during our family trip to Italy in 2013. So without further ado, here we are at the Colosseum, a beautiful ancient artifact. But, all the good tour guides will show you the Colosseum. I'd like to focus on the other things in this picture, Right there, you got the beautiful Roman bus in the background. And you've also got a picture of me taking up like 90% of the frame. And if you look at me, you can just see in my eyes that I'm thinking, I don't know what deodorant is, and you all can definitely tell. Let's take a trip to the beautiful Firenze. See the cityscape behind me. But, everyone knows what the city of Florence looks like. I like to think about this bush on the side of me because did you know that that's the most famous bush in the entire country of Italy? The Buscheroni, if you will. And if you look closely at this picture of me, you will see that I am wearing a J. Crew shirt that I am approximately 47 years too young for, and a hairstyle that says, am I a girl or am I a 90s teen heartthrob? Who can ever really tell? And here, let's take it to the canals of Venice, but everyone knows what the canals look like. So I think it's better if I point out that our gondolier hit on my mom and also had the worst breath humanly possible. See, I'm the best tour guide of them all. You can't tell already. But, maybe that's too far away. Maybe something closer to home is up your alley. Here is the Lincoln Memorial. Yeah, that's right, the Lincoln Memorial, famous site. But if you really look close to this picture, you will see right into my brain. You can see what's on my mind. I'm thinking, wow, I'm wearing sunglasses, so nobody can tell that my eyes are closed. Or what about this? The Constitution, our founding document. And you might be wondering, wow, is that the real Constitution or the fake Constitution? Well, I'll ask you this. Would they put a really cool black frame on the fake Constitution? You tell me that. I don't know, whatever. But at least I can promise you that that guy is definitely a real founding father. I mean, just look at his face. And I'd like to tell you that my photography skills have gotten better over the years, but I really can't. These were all taken within the last 2 weeks. So thank you all for listening. Stay well. Hope you're all safe.
Give it up for Lauren, everybody. So funny. I felt like I was really there. You know what I mean? I can't leave my apartment. I haven't been able to leave my apartment for literally years. For other reasons, not for like pandemic reasons. Can't fit out the front door. So it really felt like I was actually there. Thank you so much, Lauren. We have a super special guest closing out our show today. He was a student at Kids in Comedy. He moved into an intern position. He actually teaches some of the workshops back when we were allowed to all see each other and be in the same room. And he hosts our pro shows. And above all, he's really, really funny. Give it up for the fabulous Luca Libera, everybody. It's Luca Libera. Matt, I'm sorry. I'm throwing you a fastball here. I didn't let you know that Luca's going up, but Luca's next. There we go. Give it up for Luca.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick. I'm Luca. As you mentioned, I'm the intern. I give the kids notes. Sometimes they take them, sometimes they don't. It's a fun job. Yeah, I've just been chilling. You know, the school kicked us out of the dorms. A lot of Zoom classes now I've been doing. I don't really like Zoom classes though. It's hard to focus. Like the other day I was in a Zoom class for math, and it was actually social studies, I think. And I had the teacher muted. Like I just had her video up and my video was on, but I was watching TV, just had the volume all the way down. Then I see on her video that the teacher is like raising her hand. So I was like, oh, she's probably like polling the class or something. So I raised my hand too. And then I unmute her to see what I'm raising my hand for. And she's like, oh, just Luca then. So Luca, how long have you been a Beyonce fan? So I guess I'm that guy now, the Beyonce guy in the class. That's okay though. I like Zoom for comedy. You can do a lot of cool things with it. For example, I can flash us back to one of the highlights of the show today. Roman's big song. I captured that. So that was a lot of fun. What else? I mean, lately, so my parents are divorced like Roman's too. They've just been like fighting over this apartment that we used to all live in together for years now. Like honestly, like no joke, 10 years they've been fighting over this apartment. And a couple like months ago, my dad finally like broke and he told my mom, like, listen, I'll let you have the apartment if you agree to join a group chat with me and the kids, because he's like trying to get closer to my mom or something. And my mom was like, I guess, but I don't think the judge is gonna like that. And then they told the judge and the judge was like, I kind of like that. So we're in this court-ordered group chat right now, which is a little weird for sure. Like every morning, my dad will send something on the chat like top 10 best Ronaldo goals, and legally my mom has to respond. So that's been a lot of fun during quarantine, keeping up with that group chat. What else? My grandma's pretty funny too. She crashed her car. She still drives. It was like a very light crash, you know, like she was backing up. She like hit another car and we were getting worried, like, I don't know, her vision. We were like talking as a family, like, should we tell her not to drive? I think like it's probably not safe. So then we finally like had the conversation with her. We knew she would resist because she's like pretty, you know, prideful. She thinks she still got it all covered. We were like, Grandma, I really think you should consider not driving anymore. I think your vision just isn't there anymore. And she was like, I didn't crash because of my vision. I crashed because I was drunk. So, terrible. But no, I don't condone that at all. So, you know, stay safe out there. Lastly, it was tough leaving Brazil. because in Brazil there's mandatory military service. That's when 20% of 18-year-olds get selected. I got selected. And for a while I was like, what did I do wrong? You know, on the sign-up sheet, when it says, do you want to serve the military? I put no. So then my friend goes, wait, so if you put that you don't want to serve the military and they picked you to serve anyway, that means that if I put that I do want to serve the military, they won't pick me. So he's serving now. We both got picked. What happens after that? You got to go to this big military field, run through some tests, physical, mental tests. If you pass all the tests, then you get to serve the military. So we're out here trying to fail these tests, you know, push-up tests. We're going, oh, our back. We look around, everyone is going, oh, our backs. So it doesn't even matter. These people are not trying to be nice to you either. These military generals, they're coming up to the kids like, son, you know how many things I had to see to get these medals? Brazil's never been in a war, so probably not that many, sir. You know, like, that's how it goes. That's true. Brazil's never been in a war. We try to stay neutral during World War II. You know, probably the most evil event in history. We're just like, yeah, take it or leave it. Neutral during World War II. Until Germany bombed 2 of our submarines. Then we were like, oh my God. We have submarines? Why? Why do we have that? Oh, man. But then after that, last thing was the medical exam, right? Medical exam is where they round everybody into a little room. They line you up and they make everybody go naked, and they go one by one inspecting your teeth. We're thinking, why are we naked for this? But I passed the medical exam. So then it was nearing the last day. Like, I kept coming back. This went on for like a month. And finally, the last day, there's like the big field that I was talking about. The general is at the front of the field, and there's a line coming up to him. He's like sorting people left, right. It's like sorting like the branches, what type of like military service you're going to be doing. So I'm in this line. I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm going to have to serve. I've given up hope. I'm like getting closer and closer, closer and closer. Finally gets to my turn. He looks down at me. He goes, son, dad, do you want to serve the military? And I go, no. So he goes, okay, you're dismissed. You saw me naked though, so like, I think I should just serve at this point. And that is how I didn't serve. I ended up not serving. I took his offer, and that's how I got here. Now I'm in the United States. And yeah, thank you guys. This is a fun show. Appreciate it.
Give it up for Luca, everybody. Luca, thank you so much. We appreciate all the hard work that you put in for this entire session of Kids in Comedy. And folks, cold brew is all gone. You know what that means. That means the show is over. I could be doing this all day long, but I just don't have enough cold brew. I want you guys to, in your homes, give it up for all of the comics you saw here today. They put in so much work, and they were hilarious. Great sets. I'd like to say this is the best comedy show that's happening on the internet today. That's right, folks. Quality comedy. Everybody put in so much work. They're so funny. Great comedians. They worked really hard at this. So thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to say that if you guys are interested in Kids in Comedy, which is what this is, Kids in Comedy, go to kidsincomedy.com. We're going to be trying to run some summer sessions, okay? You're trying to figure out what you want to do this summer, but you're not allowed to go to an actual camp. Why don't you just sit at home on the computer and write jokes with us at Kids in Comedy, because we're going to be running sessions this summer, provided that there are people that want that. So if you do, make sure you check that out. Email us, do whatever you have to do. DM us. We will provide the service, and we are happy to, because it's one of the most fun things you can do in a summer. Also, if you're interested in anything Kids in Comedy related, it's kidsincomedy.com. My name has been Nick Maritato. I want to say thank you to Joanne and Stu, who are the directors of the Kids in Comedy program. Without them, we would not have all of this stuff, and we would have no program. They've been doing the program for like 20 years, and now we're in a new generation, obviously, and we're going to try to keep plugging along, and I'm very happy to be along for the ride. I want to say thank you so much for my assistant, and she is a hilarious person herself, Emma Gonzalez. Everybody, clap it up for Emma. She's here helping out with the kids every single week. There she is. There's Emma and her wonderful background. She's quarantining there, and I don't know how she's got Wi-Fi, but it's working out. She's so great. She's so funny. And obviously Luca, who you just saw, helping me out all semester long. And I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. That is it. If all the kids want to wave, Matt, why don't you go to like a grid view, a gallery view, and we can sign off with all the kids waving, like as if we're in some sort of a sitcom. Is that possible? If not, sorry for all the curveballs. I'll just keep waving here. Okay. You're so funny, guys. Thank you so much. The YouTube is all gone and the comedy lives, baby. It lives. Good night or good day. I don't know. Time doesn't mean a thing. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, Nick.
Kids, you stay on. You stay on, kids. We'll talk. We'll do a little post game.